What do you call a factory that makes okay products?
An OK factory?
No, a satisfactory. It's just satisfactory. Okay.
I'm John Genovese.
Okay,
And this is the Distracted Driving Podcast.
don't get distracted with those dad jokes.
Yeah, boy, that's not hard to do.
Okay. Was that the
that's easy to
intro?
do? No, it's easy to not get distracted. I don't even know anymore. Here's what I do know, Rex.
I'm Rex Williams.
Did we say that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah,
I
don't think
threw
you
in a
did.
stupid comment.
You got distracted.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
what happened.
That's why we have the show, because we're professionals. I get distracted.
So here's what I know. I know that at the end of the last episode, where we had a delightful conversation with our friend Stephanie,
She's
we
awesome.
tried desperately to pimp all of our social media and all of our outlets that we are on.
Oh, yeah.
We were trying to tell people where to find the podcast, which is kind of a funny thing to do, because if they're hearing us,
They already found
they've already found the podcast.
But they may have heard us on YouTube, and they'd rather go to iTunes or Spotify or something like that.
And they just don't know. They don't know where to go.
Okay.
So we're going to tell you where to go.
The letter L.
According to the DistractedDrivingPodcast.com website, which I think we might have created, we are on iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts,
sweet,
Apple Podcasts,
oh yeah,
Spotify,
kids,
Stitcher,
yes,
and Amazon Music.
Oh yeah, Amazon Music. I love Amazon
and for
Music.
You purists out there, you can also listen on the Distracted Driving Podcast website directly.
www.
It's mind-boggling.
Yeah, and make sure you add the podcast, because just distracteddriving.com is something else. It's not appropriate.
Now, the great thing about our friend Stephanie, well, there's many great things. One of the great things, every time that we have her on one of our shows, and it's been several times now, she's always got cool new ideas.
Yeah.
Just a little takeaway that you can just bring with you. You put it in your pocket, you take it with you.
Yeah.
This is another one of those times. So, strap in, folks, because Stephanie's going to introduce you to Leadership Out Loud. Patent pending.
Speaking more about leadership, sometimes I like to noodle on leadership programs and what I would do. And, big companies have big budgets and they bring in consultants and they design these beautiful 3-day offsites with speakers. And we don't have that kind of budget. So I was like, how can I harness the power of the crowd that's here and embrace this concept of messy leadership and messy learning. And so I mean, if you're interested, I could tell you a little bit more about this thing that I haven't done yet that I would love to do. It's all about improv and learning.
Oh yeah, let's hear it. Let's do it.
Well, it's called Leadership Out Loud, and the idea is that you kind of it's almost like a Goldilocks thing. I have kids, so it's like a Goldilocks thing. It's too hot, too cold, just right. So let's say Rex, you need to tell someone to get off their phone. They're just on their phone all the time. They're not really working. You notice this. And I want you to do this conversation in 30 seconds, but do it way too blunt. Give me the too blunt version. You would never do this in real life, but let's play.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you want me to do it?
You're yeah.
Dude, what are you doing? Get off your phone. We're here at work, man.
There you go. Scrolling? All right, so it's too blunt. Well done. That was great.
All right,
so now, Sean, let's just throw you in. You play. So what about way too passive?
Listen, Steph, I've noticed that a lot of times here at work, you seem to be interacting quite a bit with various electronic devices that are not owned by the company, and it might be distracting you from the task that maybe you could be doing otherwise.
Bravo, bravo. Snaps for you. All right, you guys did great, right? So now like in the span of like instead of like, oh, I gotta get this right, I gotta get this right, like what is the answer to the question? Like in most like leadership development programs, like this is the answer. Say this. You've like made it play and you've made it funny. And then now of course like the third answer is like, okay, like now let's try to hit it just right. And then like you let the leader be like, okay, like that was too passive, that was too blunt, like I'm gonna be somewhere in the middle. But by the way, just so you know, like the versions that you both just played out, like those leaders exist and do it
Oh,
that way.
how do you think I did that so well?
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, no, that's a
I
great,
have
great strategy. Perfect. Love it.
I mean, that's one of my frustrations, and especially when I went into management. But one of my frustrations is like you're in a situation like that, and I've actually given people feedback where I'm like, I have no idea what you're trying to tell me. Could you just tell me, tell me what you're trying to tell me? Because whatever you just said, I don't know what that means. Like it's too soft.
Hmm. Yeah. And so that's my concept. I don't know. If I have the space and time, after payroll and taxes and Social Security gets paid and, we fire the people we need to fire, like I want to get to that because I think that could be a really cool verbal, like leadership development that just like, is fun.
You know,
Can't you
if
schedule a
only
meeting?
you if only you knew somebody that had leadership experience, maybe instructional experience as well, that was available for freelance consulting engagements. Oh well.
It's
For those who can't see, he's slowly lifting his logo mug
yeah,
and taking a
I've been
long
drinking
sip
that.
from it.
SG Enterprises.
We'll
Or
uh we'll
yeah,
talk after the podcast.
yeah, yeah.
Sounds good.
Um, well, I'm just going to offer my consulting. Here's step one. Anybody can meet with anyone about anything. This is my tip for people that want to start something in a large company. Now, this isn't a large company, so I'm sure it's a
I
different
think
dynamic there.
I think it still
Uh,
applies because I I,
but
I know what you're going to say.
but that's the principle of if you want to start something. It's like, well, schedule a meeting with someone. That's how everything gets done. With everything else, we got to do this thing. Well, we're gonna schedule a meeting. We're talking about it. Schedule a meeting with a couple of your closest friends and say, hey, I got this idea. Let's try it out. And then you just try it
Hmm.
out. Like, what do you think? All right. How about we try it at the next staff meeting or something like that? Or, and then figure out a
Hmm.
strategy with your closest friends on how you would launch it in your company, and then you go do it. Others too.
Rex has a very nicely packaged 4-step how to start a movement presentation that he put together. He delivered it to one of my classes, and that's why I
Yeah.
knew what he was going to say. But it's very well done, and that's exactly it. Yeah, just start.
Yeah. Start
Yeah,
by starting.
that's awesome. It's great advice, and I guess I don't want to put a damper on it, right? But I think the reality
Tell us.
of
Yeah.
startups is like, and someone else told this to me, so I'm just passing the message on, is the kryptonite for startups is that they get distracted and they lose focus on the critically critical, mission critical stuff. And you start to have either job creep or scope creep. And the
Mm-hmm.
reality of a Boeing is that, they're not going out of business. Startups
Mm.
have, 6 months of runway, a year of runway, 2 years of runway, and then there's no more money. So there is some balancing of priorities. And I have no doubt that people would love the idea, but I also have to ask myself the question, do I want to distract the engineering team with this right now?
Mm-hmm.
Man,
Yeah,
did
good
you,
good point.
you used the key word there. I don't know if you saw my post about kryptonite in organizations,
That's funny. Yeah,
but
you did use
I
that.
characterize it a little bit differently. And it's not just exclusive to startups, although it certainly applies there. I think so. First of all, I say the kryptonite in any business is variation and variability. So the antidote to that is stability. When you have stability, then you can go and economically improve things. You can handle the variation that comes in because your baseline processes and your business structure are stable. And I think what happens is you get a startup, which by its nature is usually, it's a couple of people starting up. And so they're very unstructured and there's a lot of instability. And that's part of the magic of maybe what drives their innovative process. But then you get to a point where, in order to grow beyond a certain point, you necessarily, as we were talking before, you have to now start bringing some processes in. Not to inhibit or eliminate the creativity, but you're trying to become stable. You're trying to bring stability to what was maybe unstable. And
I agree
you
with
owe
that.
me
Yeah.
$5 for using kryptonite.
No, but I can see that, right? You're unstable because it's a startup. You're always doing new stuff, and you don't have time for extra stuff, like whatever you might say is extra. So you're hesitant
I
of
mean,
distracting.
the flip of my own, comment that I just made is, what if that adds even more value, right? What if by empowering leaders with these coaching tools and ways to motivate and inspire their teams, like, it causes us to go 2x or 3x, right? So like, what if that's a part of the secret, potion here to like make everything better. So,
Hmm.
it's all kind of like, who knows? Like maybe I'm helping by holding it to the right moment, or maybe I shouldn't be holding it. It's all very unknown.
Well, all right, Steph. Thanks for coming back onto a podcast. This is what our third time talking to you on a podcast, I think.
Possibly. Hopefully the next time I haven't remarried and had two more kids by that point. That would be a weird twist.
she'll be
Yeah,
she'll be 4 jobs down the road, a whole different family. No,
yeah.
cool.
Gotta get stable.
Well, until next time. I've
Yeah, thanks so
forgotten.
much.
It's been so long. How do we sign off again?
Well, don't get distracted. I liked your message
That's the
about
one.
this is distracted driving. Yeah, the slow-mo.
Slow-mo out.
Um, yeah, and so yeah, thanks so much, Steph.
Thanks for having
Uh,
me. I appreciate y'all.
yeah, it's good to hear what's going on and how you're making a difference in out there.
All right. Thanks for listening.
You are they. All right,
We are they. Who are
we
they?
are they. You are they, and we are us.
Oh my gosh.